Hey buddies, hope you all are doing great. So welcome to this series where within a short duration of time we complete this whole chapter, and now it's time for breathing and exchange of gases. Just imagine this whole chapter, 50 minutes we will be completing that. So are you guys ready? Now this series is total NCERT based. Whatever things which are there in the NCERT, we are discussing everything. Are you ready? Are you excited? So let's have a look. We'll not waste any time because we have to complete this chapter. Okay, so this we are going to do breathing and exchange of gases. How does it happen? First, let's talk about the respiration and breathing. So respiration is what? Respiration is an overall mechanism. This is what? This is an overall mechanism. Overall mechanism. So what does it include? It include the breathing. Breathing means exchange of gases. I'll tell you. Breathing. So what do we mean by breathing? Breathing means the two things. That is the process of inhalation, and the second one, that is the exhalation. Right? Clear? Now, other than that, we are having the respiration which occurs at the lung level also. That is the exchange of gases. That is also included in respiration. Exchange of gases. Then ultimately there is a cellular respiration. Cellular respiration. Because we are talking about gases, so one thing we should understand that we are talking about the aerobic respiration. There are two types of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, oxygen involved in high amount of ATP is produced, whereas in anaerobic respiration, very less amount of ATP is being produced. Let's talk about the respiratory organs in various group of organisms. See. So, let's start with the some organisms. Some organisms, for example, the annelids. Annelids. What you will find? You will find they respire through the general body surface. How do they do the exchange of gases? General body surface. Clear? Now, whereas when we talk about the aquatic organisms, for example, the fishes, what is there? They are having gills for the respiration. Am I right? Let's talk about the arthropods. So in case of arthropods, you will find a tracheal system. Right? In case of insects, you will find tracheal system is there. In some organism, you will find book gills. In some organism, you will find book lungs are there. Right? Book lungs you are going to find in scorpion. So where are you going to find the book lungs? The scorpion and spider. This is present in limulus, the crab. Right? Tracheal system you will find in the insect. So ultimately the meaning is the exchange of gases. Clear? So fishes, they are having gills. Let's talk about another important thing, that is the frog. In the frog you will find the cutaneous respiration. That means the exchange of gases occur through the general body surface. They also respire with the help of the lungs. And in fact, when we talk about the tadpole, what do they have? The gills. Clear? Let's talk about the most modern group of organism. What is that? That is human. So human, we are having lungs. Lungs are present. Isn't it great? So different group of organism, different structures, they are present. Let's move on to the next. So basic topic which we have to deal today is a human respiratory organ. Yes, in detail also we'll be studying, but I'm just giving you an overview of this chapter and this is going to benefit you a lot. Now the human respiratory organ. Human respiratory organ or human respiratory system consists of various other structure. Now it starts with the nose. Then we have is the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity. Then we have is the nasopharynx, pharyngeal region, nasopharynx, other region, right? Later on we are having the laryngopharynx also. Then we are having the the pharynx region. Then we are having the next region, which is the trachea. Then we are having the bronchi. The next we are having the first primary and secondary bronchi. Then we are having the bronchioles. And ultimately we have is the alveoli. So these three structures, they are present in the lungs. So whenever I am saying the lungs, we are having a paired structure which is termed as lungs, and this paired structure which we have, that is composed of bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli. Let's look at this diagram which is there in the NCERT, and let's make this topic super duper easy for you guys. So what do we have here? We are having nose, then we are having the cavity, the nasal cavity, and you know this cavity is full of hairs and it helps in the heating of the gases. Clear? The heating, like whatever we are inhaling, so we increase the temperature. So that is because of the nose and the nasal cavity, from where it enters into the pharynx region. From pharynx we are having the next region, that is the trachea. Then we are having the larynx and the epiglottis. So that I am going to explain you with the help of a bottle. 1 second, I'll show you. Okay buddies, now look at this. This is a bottle, right? Now suppose a flap is present on this bottle. Right? Now this particular flap which is present in the body, this bottle, this is termed as a epiglottis. This is a flap-like structure. Now this is termed as, now this bottle covering, this is termed as a larynx, which is a voice box. Now this is a trachea. Now trachea is having C-shaped cartilaginous rings, hyaline cartilaginous ring. Now if this, you know, the diameter of this bottle is more, so this is how the C-shaped cartilage is present. Clear? So on the dorsal side, here we are having the trachea is present. Towards the dorsal side, this space is empty. Clear? So it opens into the trachea. Above trachea, you will find, towards the trachea, you will find the larynx. So larynx is what? Larynx is the voice box. Next we have a covering which is termed as a epiglottis covering. The trachea is having C-shaped cartilage. C-shaped hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage is there, C-shaped. So this prevents the trachea from collapsing. Now this further bifurcates. Can you see? The bifurcation happens at the T5 level. That is the T5 level. Here I am talking about the vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae. So they bifurcates at the T5 level into two different structure, and these different structure, they are termed as the bronchus. So these are the bronchus or the bronchi. Bronchus and the bronchi. Clear? Clear? Now these bronchi further bifurcates. We'll be looking at this later on. Clear? Now this is how the lungs are present. Lungs are enclosed in the ribs. Now cut of the ribs, that means we have made a cut on the ribs so that the lungs, they are visible. Lungs, below this a C-shaped structure is present, normally present like this. This is termed as a diaphragm. This is a normal condition of the heart, of the diaphragm. In between you will find a heart is there. Heart is more towards the left side. So that is the reason a notch, cardiac notch is present in the left heart, not in the right heart, the left heart. There we are having some pleural membranes also. We are having two pleural membranes. Two membranes are there which cover it. One is termed as a parietal pleura, which is towards the outer side, and second is termed as a visceral pleura, which is towards the inner side. In between them, we are having the pleural fluid, which prevents the lungs from the collapsing when they increase or decrease in their volumes. Ultimately, we are having the alveoli is there the maximum gaseous exchange occur, pleural fluid is there, bronchioles is there. Let's talk further about this. So we were talking about the trachea. So let's have a look. So this is a trachea. Trachea bifurcates at T5. This is a primary and the secondary bronchi. Now this primary, I'm just making the diagram of the one side. Now it further bifurcates. This is a bronchi. So bronchi bifurcates into two. Clear? Now it further, not only two, it further bifurcates also. Now this further bifurcation. Now every bifurcation I am showing with the help of a different color. Now next one, it further bifurcates. So like this, there is network of branches. So simultaneously, let's label these as well so that you can have a better understanding of this topic. What is this? This is a trachea. What is this? This is a bronchi. Now, what is this? This is a primary bronchi. Primary bronchi. Now, next one we are having is the secondary bronchi. Next, tertiary bronchi. It further bifurcates. Look at this, the bifurcation. Now it is further increasing. See? It further bifurcates like this. Clear? What do we have now? Is the primary bronchioles. Primary bronchioles. And the next one we have is the terminal bronchioles. The terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole. Clear? Let's see how does it bifurcates. First we have is a trachea, then bronchi, then primary bronchi, the secondary bronchi, the tertiary bronchi, then primary bronchioles, the terminal bronchioles. Now further it bifurcates. Let's look at the structure further. Alveolar bronchioles. Then it further bifurcates into the alveolar duct. Ultimately we are having the alveoli. Clear? So, next structure. Now, this one I am labeling with the help of the alveolar bronchioles. Alveolar bronchiole. Now, next one we are having alveolar duct. Lastly, we have this rounded structure which is the alveoli. Now, these are the three places, which you can see, the last one, these are the places for the exchange of gases. Exchange of gases. So, this is our exchange part, whereas the rest one starting from the nose, right? Starting from the nose to the terminal bronchiole. Terminal bronchiole. What do we have is, what's the name given to this? The conducting part. The conducting part. And what is the function? Function is just conduction of gases. Conduction of gases, and the second function is warm gases, and third function is moisten the gases. So would you like to try this activity with your chubby ma'am? Yes? Take out your specs if you are wearing specs, and if you blow, you will find a fog deposition. That means the gases which comes out from our nostril, so they are basically what? They are moistured. Moistured means they are having moisture. The reason is because of the conducting part. Clear? So this is how the bifurcation look like. Clear? Now the question is, another question that comes from this particular topic is, when we talk about the C-shaped cartilage, where are these C-shaped cartilage present? Your answer should be trachea. Your answer should be bronchi. Your answer should be secondary bronchi. Your answer should be the tertiary bronchi. Your answer should be the primary bronchi. That's it. In terminal bronchi, the C-shaped cartilage are not present. So that I am writing over here. C-shaped cartilage not present in terminal bronchi. That's it. Rest everywhere in the conducting zone, you will find the C-shaped cartilage. So it prevents the collapse. Clear? Let's talk about the mechanism of breathing. Very important topic, mechanism of breathing. So this I'll be explaining with two different things. One is termed as inspiration. Inspiration. Inspiration is also termed as a process of inhalation. Inhalation, that means to take inside. Now, inhalation. Now, listen very carefully. I'm going to make this topic another interesting thing. Now, we are having gases present in the atmosphere. Gases in the atmosphere. Where are these gases present? In the atmosphere. Right? I want they should enter into the lungs. Right? I want they should enter into the lungs. Clear? Clear? They should enter into the lungs. Clear? Now, how is it possible? This is because the partial pressure difference. This is because, so one thing is, because of the partial pressure difference, one point I am writing, partial pressure difference help in transport of gases. Transport of gases. Transport of gases. So same gases, they are present outside. Same gases, they are present outside. Now, there is this particular movement is possible only when the partial pressure over here should be high and partial pressure over here should be low. Partial pressure should be low. Am I right? Then only from outside gases will come inside. Are you agreeing to this point? I'm making the points very much simple because simplicity is important. If you are able to understand the concept, you will be able to have these concepts for a longer time in your brain. Now, when there is a pressure difference. Now, how can we reduce the pressure? Think about it. How can we reduce the pressure? So, pressure can be reduced by increasing the volume. Let's do one thing. Let's increase volume. And how can we do that? Yes, this is possible. So, you can see we are having the whole lungs that is present in the cage. Now, look at this lungs. Lungs are present in the cage. On the ventral side, lungs, on the ventral side, look at this. Look at this. On the ventral side, what do we have is the ribs and the sternum. Now, when we talk about the dorsal side, we are having these vertebrae. So we have to increase the volume. Vertebra we cannot change, but yes, this area we can rise. Now the second thing is, on the lower side, that is towards the lower side, you will find a diaphragm is there. Let's pull the diaphragm towards the lower side. So that means the volume will increase and pressure will go down. And when this will happen, there will be increase in the volume, there will be decrease in the partial pressure. Outside partial pressure is more. What will happen? The inspiration process. Is it clear? Is it interesting? Are you enjoying this biology class? Inspiration and inhalation, is it clear? Clear everyone? Now, look at this process. Now we are just dealing with the inspiration process. Now there are various steps involved in the inhalation. Steps. I'm sorry. Now the first step is ribs and sternum raised. Ribs and sternum raise. You know, in NCERT one line is written. What is that? The raise in ribs and sternum is there, and that too from the dorsoventral axis. Dorsoventral axis. Now the next one is, what will happen? Contraction of diaphragm. Normally diaphragm is C-shaped. Diaphragm. And when the diaphragm will contract, that means in the anterior posterior axis. Posterior axis. So during the relaxed stage it is like this. Now it will come down. See, phrenic muscles, they are present. Clear? So what will happen? Air will gush into it. Clear? Hope this topic is clear. Everything I have explained, the diaphragm, the ribs, etc. and etc. Let's move on to the next process, that is the exhalation process. This diagram is your NCERT. Now, inspiration process involves the contraction of these muscle, ribs and the sternum. And specifically in the ribs, there is presence of one muscle which is termed as external intercostal muscle, whose contraction helps in raising the ribs. External intercostal muscle. Contraction of these two muscles, they are happening. If contraction of these two muscles are happening, contraction away from the normal state. So that means it's an active process. So what is it? It is an active process. It requires energy. Clear? Now let's move on to the next one. This process. Now what is this process all about? That is the exhalation. So opposite process. Now here opposite will happen. Ribs and sternum will go back to the original position. Diaphragm will come back to the original position. Volume will be decreased. The pressure will be increased. So exhalation will occur. Clear? Is this clear everyone? Yes. Inspiration, I have explained you. Expiration is opposite. So that means here what will happen? Ribs and sternum will come back to the original position. That means there is relaxation of external intercostal muscle, relaxation of the diaphragm, volume decreases, pressure increases, air will gush out. Clear? Hope these topics, they are clear. Now let's move on to the next topic, which is the respiratory volumes and capacities. In a very easy and interesting way, I am going to explain you the respiratory and the volume capacity. There is one instrument which is termed as spirometer. And spirometer help in the measuring of the respiratory capacity and volumes. How can we do that? See, I'll tell you. This gives us an idea whether the particular problem is happening in our body or not. Spirometer gives us an graph. Spirogram, and that spirogram, by reading that spirogram, doctor, they will analyze whether your lungs, they are working properly or not in terms of inhalation and exhalation. Now everybody, do not focus anywhere, just focus on your beautiful chubby ma'am. Okay, now look at this. What is this? What I am doing? I am taking in some gases and I am exhaling out also. What is that? That is a tidal volume. Now look at this. I am inhaling something. I am inhaling something. Exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. What is this? This is the tidal volume. So let's label this as, I'm making this topic easy for you, very easy. Tidal volume. Now why I'm telling you to forcefully inspire. Now what will you say? Ma'am, is this possible? Yes. Forcefully inspire. That is termed as, see, I told you to inspire first normally, then forcefully inspire. See, oh my God, then expire. What is this? This is termed as the inspiratory reserve volume. Inspiratory reserve volume. Now I'm telling you to expire forcefully. Now you'll say normal expiration, tidal volume. If I'm telling you to expire forcefully, what is this? This is your expiratory reserve volume. Expiratory reserve volume. What is your tidal volume? Almost 500 ml, 500 to 550. What is the inspiratory reserve volume? 2500 to 3000 ml. Now next one is the expiratory reserve volume. How much will you be able to expire? That is around the 1000 ml to 1100 ml. It varies. Now still some volume of gases that remain in lungs. What is that? That is termed as a residual volume. So there is some volume of gas that remain in lung that do not go out, they just remain in lung. So that is termed as a residual volume, RV. So this graph gives us an idea of inspiratory reserve volume, the expiratory reserve volume, the tidal volume. That's it. Residual volume is not detected by the spirometer. Another very important PYQ from the NCERT. So that for your NEET examination, 100 ml. Clear? Now can we measure the capacities out of it? Yes, ma'am, it is super easy. Now let's talk about vital capacity. Vital capacity, very important. Can we live? See, vital, that means it is important for our survival. What is that? Your tidal volume plus inspiratory reserve volumes. Sorry, we are talking about the vital capacity. Clear? So, tidal volume plus your expiratory reserve volume. Can you calculate this? So, I want your answer in the comment section. Next one, we are having the functional residual capacity. Okay. Functional residual capacity. So what is this functional residual capacity? The one which do function in our body. See, inspiratory reserve volume goes out. The functional residual capacity, the one which is responsible for the function. What is that? Guys, can you tell me what will be the functional residual capacity? Anyone would like to tell me? What is that? That is your expiratory reserve volume plus your residual volume. Let's talk about what is the capacity for your inspiration. How much can you inspiration? Inspiratory capacity. Now you'll say, no, normal inspiration, ma'am, we can take up the tidal volume plus the inspiratory reserve volume. That will be your capacity. Now let's talk about the expiratory capacity. Expiratory capacity. How much can you expire? Can you tell me what is your capacity? You'll say, ma'am, if I know the tidal volume and if I add it with the expiratory reserve volume, I'll get the expiratory capacity. Clear? Vital capacity, functional residual capacity, inspiratory, expiratory. And now let's talk about what is left with the next one is the total respiratory volume. Total capacity. Total respiratory capacity. What is that? that is TB plus IRV plus ERV plus RV. Clear? So what I want from you guys, if I am doing some hard work, so I want some answers from you guys also. Calculate these capacities and give me answer in the comment section. You have all the volumes with you, you just have to plus it. Moving on to the next is exchange of gases. And I told you so many times that exchange of gases occur because of the change in the partial pressure. Now when we talk about the outside, in the outside environment, outside, the partial pressure of the gases, they are more. PO2 is high, whereas the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is comparatively less. Right? And you know how much is it? It is 158 mm of Hg. It is 158 mm of Hg. And what is this? This is 0.3 mm of Hg. Very, very, very less. So because of the change in the partial pressure, we inhale. In the alveoli, the partial pressure of oxygen is 104. And the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is 40 mm of Hg. Now here, exchange of gases occur. Now from alveoli, the oxygen enters into the body tissue and carbon dioxide is taken up. Now the question which comes from this topic is, when we talk about the diffusion occurs through a membrane, and that is termed as a diffusion membrane. So diffusion membrane is made up of three different things. One is an alveolar wall, which is one-celled thick. Clear? One-celled squamous epithelium. So what? It's a non-ciliated. It's non-ciliated. Please remember, squamous epithelium. Flat cells are there. Next we are having is the endothelium. Always remember, in endothelium, that means in the blood vessel, that means in the capillaries, single layer of endothelium is present. As endothelium is also made up of the squamous epithelium. In between we are having a basement membrane. So the three structures are present. Alveolar wall, 1, 2 and 3. So three structures are present in the diffusion membrane. So will you remember this? So this is how the exchange of gases occur. If the thickness of the diffusion membrane is more, then there will be problem in the diffusion that we do not want. That is the reason if they are quite thin. Now there will be exchange of gases. Now the pulmonary vein, you all know what does pulmonary vein carry? Is the oxygenated blood. Now the pulmonary vein will be carrying the oxygen, that is 95 mm of Hg, and carbon dioxide less, 40 mm of Hg. You know, now this gases, they reach up to the body tissue where the exchange of gases occur. Now the systemic veins, that means the deoxygenated one, the one will carry the deoxygenated, they will be having the partial pressure of oxygen, that is 40, because oxygen from 95 to 40, how much is released? Around 45, right? 55 is released. And what is left? 40 mm of Hg. They receive carbon dioxide also because of the diffusion. Here also the same thing happened, the diffusion. So the partial pressure of oxygen will be 40, partial pressure of oxygen will be 45. They'll reach up to the alveoli and again the gaseous exchange will occur. So one thing which you have to remember is the partial pressure in each and every places. You should know in the environment what is that. You should know in the alveoli what is that. You should know that in the case of systemic vein, what is that. The arteries, what is that. Tissues, what is that. So all these things will you be able to remember? Super important, buddy. Super duper important. Definitely, if you need your Chavi ma'am's help, I am always ready to help you guys. Do mention in the comment section whatever problem you are facing, any chapter which is your not favorite. Do let us know. Let's communicate. So, transport of oxygen. Now, we'll be dealing with the transport of oxygen. Now, please remember the major transport, that means 97% transport, occur in the form of what? The oxyhemoglobin. That means they are bound to hemoglobin. So at one time, if I am saying 100% saturation, hemoglobin is bound to 4 molecules of oxygen. Clear? 75% saturated, that means 3 molecules are bound. 50%, 2 molecules, 25%, 1 molecule is bound. What about the 3%? 3% is dissolved in plasma. dissolved in plasma. Now, this topic states there is a one graph given in the NCERT which gives us an idea of the oxygen dissociation curve. So, oxygen dissociation curve, this is a particular curve goes like this. Now, that means partial pressure of oxygen, more the partial pressure of oxygen, more will be the saturation of hemoglobin. More the partial pressure, more will be the saturation. And look at the maximum saturation, what is that? 100%. That means hemoglobin is bound to what? 4 molecules of oxygen, 100% saturation. See, now our hemoglobin is 100% saturated. Clear? Everybody clear? Now there is one value which is a P50. What is this P50 value? P50 value is this particular partial pressure of oxygen at which 50% of hemoglobin is saturated. That means 2 molecules of the oxygen that is attached to the hemoglobin. Clear everyone? Clear? Is this clear? Now this curve shift to various positions. This curve shifts to the right and this curve shift to the left. Let's have a look and let's make this topic also easier for you buddies. Now, whenever there is change in the curve towards the right, there are chances that this particular curve can shift towards the left side. Clear? This is termed as the right shift. This is termed as the left shift. This is termed as the Bose effect. Bose effect. And this is termed as the Haldane effect. Haldane effect. Now please remember, affinity of hemoglobin with oxygen reduces when there is carbon dioxide concentration is more, H plus is more, pH is less, temperature is high. These are the only topics which are mentioned in the book and NCERT. So when I'm saying less saturation, that means what? That means buddies, the right shift. That means buddies, the right shift. So what will happen over here? Very important line. The hemoglobin, that is the oxyhemoglobin will dissociate from hemoglobin and it will bind to the carbon dioxide. Clear? Let's talk about the next topic, that affinity of hemoglobin increases with oxygen. When carbon dioxide concentration is less, oxygen partial pressure is more, the pH is more, H plus is less, and when temperature is low. So this occurs at alveoli level, this occurs at tissue level. Clear? This is the Bose effect, this is the Haldane effect. Simplest way I have taught you the transport of oxygen. Let's talk about the transport of carbon dioxide. So transport of carbon dioxide occurs in another 3 different forms. First, carb amino hemoglobin. Clear? Carb amino hemoglobin. Next is in the form of a bicarbonate ion. Now next in the dissolved in the plasma. dissolved in plasma. Dissolved in plasma. So carb amino hemoglobin very less, that is 23%, 70%, 7%. This is how the transport occur. Now let's revise these things. So what happens is, now we are having tissues, right? Tissues gives us carbon dioxide, and now this tissue carbon dioxide enter in the blood vessel with the help of diffusion. Now here the following reaction occur. The first, you should know that out of this 23% carbon dioxide binds to hemoglobin and it will form HbCO2. Clear? Whereas 70% CO2, 70% CO2 goes to another structure. What is that? That is your RBC, right? This is your RBC. It goes inside the RBC, right? This also occurs in the RBC. This also occurs in the RBC. The hemoglobin binding, this will also occur in the RBC. Now what will happen? Yes. I'll do one thing. I'll draw this again. Otherwise you will be confused. Okay. Let's just talk about the 7%. 7% of carbon dioxide to what? It will dissolve itself in plasma. Dissolve in plasma. Now, whereas the 70% of carbon dioxide, they will reach to the structure. And you know what's the name of that structure? Name of that structure is the RBC. So it will reach up to the RBC. Now what will happen? Now this 70% carbon dioxide will bound to the water molecule and it will form H2CO3. H2CO3 will dissociate into H plus HCO3 negative. Clear? Now this HCO3 negative goes out, right? It will go out in the plasma. Now it will go out in the plasma, and in against of it the chloride ion comes in. This is termed as chloride shift. Very important question. Chloride shift. Clear? Now this HCO3 negative binds with sodium in plasma and it forms the NaHCO3. Clear? Now we are having more H plus ion. Now this H plus ion is very important. Now this will look at the HbO2. It will kick the HbO2 and it will form HHB complex. Oxygen will be released. Now this oxygen will go back to the tissues because tissues needs oxygen. Let's talk about the next, that is the 23%. 23% of carbon dioxide. Now this 23% of the carbon dioxide, will look for the HbO2. It will dissociate and it will form HbCO2. Oxygen will be released. This oxygen will reach up to the tissue. Clear? So this is how the loading of the carbon dioxide occur. So what do we call this? The loading of carbon dioxide. Clear? Chloride shift is clear. Hope everything is clear. Now let's talk about further, that is the unloading of carbon dioxide. Now the carbon dioxide is there in the blood. Clear? Now carbon dioxide buddies, it is there in the blood. Now we have to diffuse this carbon dioxide out of the blood, so that it should reach up to the alveoli. So please remember, now two structures are there. One is a plasma, and the second structure that I have discussed, that is the RBC. So at alveoli level, what will happen? Now the first thing is, you should know the 7% of carbon dioxide will diffuse into alveoli. Clear? It will diffuse. Second thing which is present is NaHCO3. You remember, this was there in plasma. This will dissociate into Na plus ion plus HCO3 negative. Now this HCO3 negative will go inside the RBC. We are having HCO3 negative, and in replace of this, the chloride ion will come out. Now this HCO3 negative, what will happen next? HHB was there. You remember HHB? Now HHB will look for oxygen. Now we are having oxygen. Now oxygen will push this H plus ion. What do we get? HbO2 plus the H plus ion. Now this H plus ion will come over here. It will form the H2CO3. This H2CO3 will further form the H2O plus CO2. Now this CO2 will be released. Clear? Here we are having the alveoli. So this is how this is released. Clear? Everybody, is this clear? Hope I am making the thing simple to you. Now next one, what will happen? Let's take another color and let's make the topic easy. Here we are having HbCO2 also. How much percentage? The 23%. We'll find oxygen over here. We know that oxygen efficiency, the hemoglobin efficiency towards oxygen increases because over here the carbon dioxide is less. So what will happen? It will form HbO2 plus carbon dioxide will be released. That's it. So everything is released. This is also released. That's it. This is the unloading of carbon dioxide in the simplest way I have explained to you. Let's talk about now the regulation. Yes. So now let's talk about the regulation. Now regulation of respiration occurs through two different regions. One of that region is the respiratory rhythm center, and the second region is termed as a pneumotaxic center. The first thing which you have to remember is the medulla. Medulla, there is one region which is termed as the dorsal side. Dorsal respiratory group. Right? This is termed as the respiratory rhythm center, and this controls the respiration majorly. It controls what? Inspiration. Clear? There is another which is termed as the ventral respiratory group. Clear? It controls forced inspiration. Forced expiration, sorry. Clear? There is another region which is termed as pons varoli. Pons varoli. This is termed as pneumotaxic center. Pneumotaxic center. Now this pneumotaxic center do what? What is the function of this pneumotaxic center? This pneumotaxic center, this is a respiratory rhythm group. This is a pneumotaxic group. It stops inspiration. Stop inspiration. When it stops inspiration, that means duration of inspiration will be reduced. So that means duration of overall respiration will increase. Duration of inspiration. Inspiration decreases. RR, that is the respiratory rate, increases. Respiratory rate increases. Clear? Other than that, there are some chemosensitive area also present, which is mentioned in your NCERT. Chemosensitive area, and these chemosensitive area, they are present in aorta, carotid arteries also. They are sensitive to what? the carbon dioxide and hydrogen ion concentration. They are not sensitive to the oxygen. Whenever they detect any increase in the carbon dioxide or H plus ion concentration, they will easily detect it, and they'll send the signal to the medulla region. And once they will send the signal to medulla, what will happen? Inspiration. Yes. Increase in these substances can activate the center, which in turn can signal the respiratory rhythm center, which is this, right? Receptor associated with aortic arch in the carotid artery can recognize these changes in carbon dioxide, the aortic arch in the carotid artery, H plus ion concentration, etc. Role of oxygen is insignificant. Clear? So, what is detected? Carbon dioxide as well as the H plus ion concentration. Now, very good. We are at the last topic of this chapter, which is your disorders of respiratory system. Asthma. So, asthma, what is this asthma? Asthma, that means a person is facing difficulty in breathing. Person is not able to breathe. And when person is not able to breathe properly, there will be wheezing sound. This is an allergic reaction. Spasm of smooth muscles occur. Mucus is produced and person is not able to inspire and expire properly. This is asthma. Next, we are having the emphysema. Those who do cigarette smoking, their alveolar wall, that is a septum, is damaged. So, overall surface area is reduced. If overall surface area is reduced, that means oxygen transport will be reduced. So, that is termed as the emphysema. Clear? Next is the occupational respiratory disorder. Occupation, that means it is related to the work. If a person is working somewhere, for example, in a mines, coal mines, etc., silicosis, asbestosis can happen, because this leads to, these chemicals, they leads to formation of fibroids, fiber-like tissues in the alveoli. And when fiber-like structure will occur, the stiffening of alveoli will occur. Because of the stiffening of alveoli, there will be very less exchange of gases. So, it involves the person who works a lot in the grinding and the stone breaking. Dust is produced, inflammation occurs, swelling, fibrosis, proliferation of the fibrous tissue, causes serious lung damage. So, one should use protective mask. So, these are the some topics which are there in the NCERT. Hope you were able to understand this topic. Yes, definitely. If you need any detailed session, do let us know in the comment section. And how did you like the topic? Do let me know your comments also in the comment section. So take care. Yes, I told you 50 minutes, and within this 50 minutes we have completed this chapter. Take care. Bye bye everyone. Thank you so much.